You are listening to the Joe on Joe podcast, the only podcast where Joe talks about Joe. And now, your host, Joe Slepsky.
Hello and welcome back to Joe on Joe. I'm your host, Joe Slepsky, and you've reached the only podcast where I watch every episode of the G.I. Joe animated series in order and give my thoughts. Tonight, we have another special guest. This one's always the most special of all. But she's not here today just because she was in town. She's not here just because she was lounging around on the couch and said, hey, do you need a guest for your podcast? No, tonight, my wife, Miss Rebekah Walendzak Slepsky, is here for a very special reason. Rebekah Walendzak, welcome back to Joe on Joe.
Thank you, husband Slepsky.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we talk in the house. I call you husband
goody
Slepsky.
Wife. Goody wife. Goody wife. So Rebekah is joining me this week. Mm-hmm. And for those of you listeners who've never heard one of her episodes, they're always dynamite.
Go back and listen to them all.
Go back to the archives. They're always dynamite because she is a improv and sketch writer / teacher / all-around expert for the Second City.
Yes, I am.
And she teaches online writing. She teaches improv and sketch in class.
I do.
Out here in Hollywood. Is that correct?
Correct.
Awesome. How long have you been doing that?
Oh, 8 years total.
What's the most fulfilling part of it?
I found a husband in my classes.
Not fishing for that answer.
The most fulfilling is helping people figure out their comedic voice. A lot of people come into class always wanting to write, or they think they're funny and they just kind of don't know that.
You point out that they're not.
I let them know. But they feel like they've got something, but they just don't really have the formula for it.
Yeah.
And to just say, stop beating yourself up and just try it. And the more you try it, the better you get. And everybody has a specific voice, and I don't care what I have to say. I already know what I have to say. I want to hear unique voices and hear the stories that other people have to say.
That's really cool.
I dig it.
Well, if you're interested in sketch comedy, where can they find you, or how do they find out more about the Second City, the most legendary sketch comedy mountain?
It's a mountain.
Mohammed castle in the
Kilimanjaro
sky.
of comedy.
Yeah,
yeah. You can go to secondcity.com, and if you want to take classes in Hollywood, which is where I'm at, look at the Hollywood Training Center, but we have a training center in Chicago and in Toronto. You can also take my online classes by going to the online class tab and look for Writing 1, Writing 2. I have a Fish Out of Water boot camp. I teach teen sketch.
Awesome. Now, last time you were on here, we plugged your IMDb page, which I then followed up on, and I saw that the people viewing your page shot up like 2,000 or 3,000%.
Oh my God. Like, I am so famous from 4 people looking at it,
So
because it's 4 more than had ever looked at it before.
You open that IMDb app and you search for Rebekah Walendzak.
Yeah, I'm. It's Joe on Joe, the only podcast that helps his wife seem like anyone knows who she is.
And you can follow me at Joe on Joe Pod at Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to send me an email, you can send me an email to joeonjoepod@gmail.com. Listen, we have guests from all over the country here. We have fans come on as guests. If you're in LA, if you're remote, we can Skype you in. I love it. I love having just the everyman come on and talk about their love for G.I. Joe. So if you're out there and you're interested, you shoot me a holler. I'm also going to plug right now. We've got a very, very special episode on its way. Now, in just 2 weeks, we are going to be recording this episode, and we haven't really finalized the air date for it. So, but I'm going to tease it right now.
Here it comes.
We are going to have Aubrey Sitterson.
What?
Who is the writer for the new IDW ongoing G.I. Joe series.
Stop it.
Stop it.
How did that happen?
You stop it. Through our friends at Golden Apple and IDW.
My goodness.
And we're so excited. We're going to do
Golden Apple
Comics out here in LA. Yeah, Melrose and La Brea. And we're going to be doing a live Joe on Joe. I feel like your podcast isn't legit until you've done an actual live show. this is be our first live show.
That is very exciting.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
It's totally exciting. So if you're in the LA area and you're hearing this,
oh, wow.
come on out to see Joe on Joe live at Golden Apple Comics. We are going to be recording this very special episode the night of November 16th. It's Wednesday night, so it's New Comic Book Day.
Ooh.
And 7 p.m. the show starts. So we are going to sit down with Aubrey, and we are going to watch an episode with him. We'll have a regular little Q&A with him, and find out what his plans are. The new G.I. Joe series actually hasn't launched yet as of this speaking engagement.
Wow.
So hopefully we'll get some teases. It is a part of that larger Hasbro universe that they've been putting together with, where they're combining G.I. Joe, Transformers, ROM, Mask, Action Man, Micronauts. Like it's been really good so far, so I'm super excited. So if you're out in the LA area, come on out.
Yeah,
November 16th. It's gonna be fantastic. Hit up goldenapple.com and or shoot me a note, and I'll get put the details out. I'll certainly be tweeting the information out there once we finalize everything. But as of right now, we got on the 16th at 7.
That's so exciting.
I'm super stoked. I think it's going to be a great time. So this week, the reason I specifically asked my beautiful wife to join me.
Hiya, wife.
Is because our episode is called Spell of the Siren.
What?
And in it, there's a lot of gender politics at play.
Good.
Cobra gets a hold of a conch shell, specifically the Baroness does. And with that, she can control the minds of men. So it's up to the Lady Joes to swoop in and save the day. Or maybe not. Maybe they fail.
Maybe they're terrible and they're not funny because they're chicks.
But listen, I'll tell you what, though.
What?
During the time the Lady Joes are in charge, our budget, we're only spending 70% of our budget.
Oh,
so we're
thank
saving
goodness.
money.
Yeah. Ow, I just hit my head on the glass.
Oh, and I think it's important because we're about to get a first lady president if everyone does their job right, and it's going to be awesome.
You just probably lost a lot of listeners.
I hope so. Well, listen. Listen, I hope so.
If you disagree, turn off.
Yeah, turn off now. So, watch my listenership just plunge.
Done. There goes my IMDb page.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for listening. And sit back and enjoy the Spell of the Siren.
Oh.
So, Rebekah, we've talked a little bit about what you watched when you were a kid. What live action stuff did you watch when you were a kid? So not cartoons per se, but were you like a Dukes of Hazzard kid?
Yes.
Or? Yes.
A-Team.
You watched the A-Team?
Of course we did.
I mean, but like, were you into it though? Like,
we all watched it together.
Because I watched it with my sisters, but they did not care about the A-Team. Like I cared.
I had two older brothers and an older sister, and I watched what they wanted to watch.
So you like the A-Team?
We watched the A-Team. Watched the Cosby Show. Now I feel dirty about it.
Now you don't remember watching the Cosby Show.
Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley when I was very little.
Oh my God, what was your favorite? Like which one of those just
I remember one night that there was a double episode of Happy Days. And my brain couldn't comprehend it. Like, I was like, I get 2 in one night of the Fonz?
So we've got this. The show starts with Spell of the Siren, and it's written by Jerry and Carla Conway.
Oh, my gosh.
Jerry Conway is a huge comic book writer. We've covered his stories here before. He did The Death of Gwen Stacy. He created The Punisher.
Oh, my.
He's an amazing talent. We love his stuff. And his episodes are always really great.
Why does he get to wear pants and she doesn't?
Well, because she looks good.
Really feminist. Really feminist
good.
episode. It's a real feminist episode.
Well, Lady J looks good. So what's happening is Torpedo and Lady J are jumping on sharks, and they're going to go deep sea scuba diving. Now, they're riding the underside of the shark.
Let's be fair. If she's going deep sea and she doesn't have anything on her legs,
She's going to be cold. She gonna be cold.
I'm just saying.
But they find a ship graveyard. Flint's driving, and so it's a weird setup for the sharks. So there are people driving the sharks, but the Joes are attached to the bottom because they're basically bringing them down below to uncover stuff. And here comes the Baroness, and it looks like Cobra was there first. And
This may be it.
Maybe
this may be it. So
At least Cobra let her wear pants.
Yeah, she's looking for something very specific. So she paddles off to what looks like a very stationary Cobra base. Like, I feel like that's a lot of building for like, like it should be a little more mobile. They kind of planted some roots there, don't you think?
Who are these dudes?
That's Tomax and Zaymot, the Crimson Twins.
Cash flow.
So a 2-part episode blew your mind of Happy Days?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. Like I didn't understand. Like I had to go
Could
to
it
bed
have been
after
the
it was
Jump
over.
the Shark episode?
I don't.
That was a 2-parter.
Oh gosh, I don't remember, but I just know that I had to go to bed.
Yeah.
After it was over, I got to stay up longer.
That's always exciting. So Baroness uncovers it, and it is a golden conch shell. But now she doesn't seem to know what it is. Typical woman. It's hard to see on a podcast, but those are daggers that just got shot my way from my wife. And the sharks come busting in. Okay, you see what just happened? This was awesome because the sharks are they can fly in the air or in the sea. Mm-hmm. So they came bursting in through the water, and then they just immediately took off in the air. That's kind of fun.
Okay. All right. That was a nice through her thighs shot.
Yeah, Oh, and she throws the phallic
Yep.
spear. So Lady J, but you know what?
And
she's got agency
flow.
though.
And there's a big flow.
Yeah. She's got agency though. Like she's kicking butt, right?
Sure.
Here, get the conch to Cobra head.
Destro gives the conch to Baroness, and
One has to show those fools how to fight.
see, I like this.
It's got the ball. It's got the football.
Yeah,
Like the nuclear
right,
codes,
look.
the football.
So we've got the women facing off.
Oh,
she just got a big piece of glass, Lady J did. And Lady J uncovers the conch and then falls in the water and is about to drown in probably pretty gross water. But what I like going on here is that it's all the dudes fighting it out. Mm-hmm. And it's like they're setting us up for what, we know, I know because we watch the episode, but they're setting us up. They're kind of like Destro kind of brushed her off. He's like, I'm going to go take care of business. You go escape. That's what he did.
Got it.
So Baroness does jump in her escape pod, and because you don't blame her. But see how that base is like they built a city next to those wrecks. Really?
Only my pride.
It's like Atlantis under the sea.
Yes.
What's this?
We're gonna spend 6 months building this, and then search the wreckage 20 feet away. And as soon as we find it, we're gonna abandon this big base. So all Lady J has is the wrappings that the conch was in. That's going to come in. That's going to be important. So she was able to secure the wrappings. Which
Is there like an image on it, like Jesus's face?
Maybe. Think of like how with Raiders Lost Ark, how Tote just had the image burned onto his hand, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So Cobra Commander, he's upset. He's berating Baroness.
He's not very nice.
No, he's not. And he raises his hand towards her.
You should rot in prison with him. You will not rescue him.
How did you feel about like Daisy Duke or Joni or Laverne and Shirley? I mean, they were obviously the leads of their show. But like, did you identify with them? Did you wish that they did more of the took more of the action? Like when you were a kid, how was your stance on like the feminine presence in those shows that we were talking about?
I wouldn't have known any better. I mean, I liked Laverne and Shirley because they were chicks and they were in charge of their own. And Laverne was funny. They both were funny. I don't think I knew the difference of, I don't see someone who represents me. Like I was little, so I don't know.
According to the writing on this oilskin,
boy.
it served as a wrapping for a conch shell used by the ancient Sirens.
That's awesome. The Joes have given the skin that the Siren was wrapped into a doctor who's a woman. Very important.
It's good to know.
And she's explaining what's going to happen to the Joes. Now, the Cobra doesn't necessarily know this because they don't have that wrapping.
That weapon. Duke, satellite feed
And once again, Breaker, who only, after those first few miniseries, he's only ever seen in that chair. He just sits in the chair.
Lazy.
He's like Sigourney Weaver's character in Galaxy Quest, where he just translates what the computer tells him.
That's awesome. Oh, Galaxy Quest.
So we've got a big pipeline, which the government is trying to stop. Listen, there's more government interference at the real pipeline than there is at this fake pipeline where it's getting attacked by actual terrorists.
And how exactly would we do that?
Do that.
This
Now, Baroness has faith in this conch shell. Mm-hmm. Major Blood, once again, making fun of her. See, I love this. Like, they're setting it up. Like, they're putting a lot of hubris on all
You
the dudes.
silly woman.
Right? That's a lot of missiles to be shooting near an oil pipeline.
Really smart.
Yeah, really smart. So Major Blood's giving some orders. We're getting some rattlers in the air. We're going to have some Sky Striker. And there's Wild Bill with some Dragonfly action. He's just blowing the crap out of him. Like, did you see that? It's a female. That was a female Cobra soldier.
Oh.
You don't get that a lot.
And was she the bad driver? Good.
Yeah, she's the one that got in the accident.
She's the bad one.
But you don't get that a lot. But you need that in this episode for what's happening right now. See, look, there's so many of them. There's normally never that many females.
A lot of blonde.
Yeah. The Baroness gets on the conch shell, and she's emitting these sound waves, and they're going everywhere, and all the dudes are zombified.
Oh, boy.
Completely zombified. Cover Girl's strong. She just picked up Gung Ho like it was nothing.
She did.
They're just zombified, all of them.
Well.
It's like post-Thanksgiving.
Totally. Tryptophan for everybody. And they're all just...
It worked.
Yeah, they're just frozen.
Just as Destro said it would. You
So Baroness heads back to the Cobra base, and she's trying to tell Commander that, she's got the weapon, but now she doesn't want to give it over to Cobra Commander, does she?
No, she doesn't.
What would you do if you, in this situation, you get something that gives you total control over
I would take over the world.
How would you do that?
I would chastise you harshly.
Okay, that's...
Give you a timeout.
That would not give you... take over the world. You would take over this home.
First your home, then your home planet.
Well, what would you do?
I've got nothing.
What would you do? So would you... Well, I guess in a military sense. Oh, wow. She just froze the Crimson Twins standing upside down.
No, my former commander.
Oh, boy.
Not treason. It is destiny.
Oh, it's destiny. It's not treason. This is awesome. So Baroness is about to take charge. Today's Filecard features on the Cobra Communications Specialists, the Tele-Vipers. Their file names are classified, and of course they're going to be varied because there's a lot of Tele-Vipers. The primary military specialties are in communications, and their secondary military specialties are in electronics. And of course, they're from various countries around the world. These are the RTO, Radio Telecommunication Operators, of the Cobra Ground Forces. They carry a standard modular radio pack that contains as a main unit a VHF transceiver equipped with an automatic frequency hopper, a crypto unit, and passive jamming and anti-jamming devices. The Tele-Viper helmet contains high-resolution earphones with overload dampers and 2 sets of voice-actuated microphones. The interior of the helmet offers an alternative LED readout triggered through the optional computer pack. Optional transmission modes include microwave beam and laser, both available as add-ons to the basic pack. Tele-Vipers wore the blue and light gray uniforms, and the most striking piece of their uniform was that LED readout across their eyes. So they wore goggles on most of the shows, and whenever they would communicate with someone, if they would say the word stop, then the word POTS would flash across their eyes, the word stop backwards, because the LED was reading out to them, and we would see the result. It lent itself to some pretty neat-looking imagery in the cartoon. In retrospect, what I kind of like about this character, as we do most of the technology-based G.I. Joes, is that I'm not even an electronics expert, and reading all of the description of their, quote, high-tech equipment just sounds so outdated. I mean, it's 30-year-old equipment. And it just makes me chuckle. Tele-Vipers were very important to the Cobra movement because they would always, the biggest thing they would relay is the word retreat, of course, backwards in their goggles. So, Tele-Vipers, without you, Cobra would never be able to get away from a battle. We salute you.
Now, back to G.I. Joe.
So can you blame her?
For taking charge? No, they're being very mean to her.
I think they're always a little mean to her, always a little dismissive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, now there's female Tele-Vipers. There's women. Hey, man, women are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Women can do anything.
Here comes the matriarchy.
They're out there doing stuff. Wow, these guys are really zombified. In a world like this, where the guys are zombies, run by women, do you think the first move would be to attack the Joe headquarters?
No, because we would get our directions wrong, and we would not be able to find the headquarters.
No, I'm being serious.
Oh,
I'm being serious. I really want to get serious.
What Baroness would do?
Yeah. I mean, I know you don't know them, like their inner motivations, whatever.
Flint? Roadblock. They're paralyzed.
Hey, what's wrong?
Come on, let's get to outpost.
Forget him. Let's go. Cobra's inside the compound.
As fun as this episode is, I kind of want her to do something different. You know what I mean? Like take a different stance, because now that a woman's in charge. Because really what they're doing is she's taking over. She's taking over. She's like winning, I think, primarily because like 3/4 of the Joe team is spaced out, right? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily. Well, although she does take control of the Joes too. So it kind of shows that she's just as bloodlusty or bloodthirsty as the guys. But I kind of sort of wanted it to be something different. I don't know what different per se.
All the men are... Look.
Well, I mean, if you look at politics now, people don't like the way certain politicians behave because they behave as part of a man's world. You know, you have to get along in a man's world in order to be heard, and then when you do act like a man, then it's wrong. You know what I mean?
You think the Baroness is Hillary Clinton?
No. Why would you make the villain?
He had nothing to do with it. I command Cobra now. Thanks.
So that's interesting, though. So let's look at this. She really is doing just what the other guys do, right?
Yeah, but she's also a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So she's doing...
She's doing her job.
She's doing her job, and she's doing what villains do.
Yeah, and she's doing it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But I mean, if she was the hero, even though she's the hero of her own story, if she's the hero, she's gonna, maybe be unique. But when you're the bad guy, you don't get to be unique. You know what I mean?
Right. There's a lot of sleeping gas that's being poured everywhere. The girls are pouring. The G.I. Joe women are.
It's like nighttime in our bedroom, Joseph.
Yeah, so they're dropping stun gas so that basically they don't have to fight their guys, which I think is a really great tactic. Just knock everyone out. We'll unbrainwash them later. But
Biological warfare.
Yeah, but there is a whole bunch of Joes that are retreating alongside the Cobras, and Jay, CoverGirl, and Scarlet they survived, but they're watching their guys march off into the night. This is kind of like...
3 ladies, Sirens. It usually was 3, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like a little bit like Why the Last Man comic book, where there's only one guy left, and the world's run by women, and sure enough, it's the same kind of tribal factioning and and bloodlust.
It's all fiction.
All fiction, all the time.
All we would do the whole time, we would just nurse the whole time.
So the Baroness is in charge. Oh, this is funny. She's got the Joes training. So they're not...
You just keep them busy. Idle hands.
She's just keeping them busy.
Well, but is it because she's got them training because they would be working for her now?
Well, yeah. Okay. But she's got them training in like the Cobra training grounds, and all the other Cobra soldiers are just watching them train with what I'm presuming is live ammo.
They're really good looking.
They really are.
They're very handsome.
It's fun to see. It's fun to see, but it's funny. She does have Cobra Commander locked up in his own cell. I do like that she's given Destro his own mobility.
Okay.
Because that's her man. That's her love.
Boo?
Yeah, that's her boo. And she's allowed him to kind of keep his own agency. He keeps his own wits. One of the Crimson Twins is escaped, so he's on the loose, and we just saw him hiding up in the roof.
And why Crimson? Are they like Russian?
Because they were another Italian. They're just called like the Crimson Guard. They run the Crimson Guards, so they call them the Crimson Twins, the Corsican Twins.
I think we found a varmint.
They're what stopped their mother's crimson tide.
Yes.
Gross.
That's really gross.
That was terrible.
It's really gross. So Wild Bill is just escorted the ladies on, because they're basically on like a Silent Castle kind of mission. So Jay has to fight a whole squadron of
Bunch
Lady
of
Joes.
chicks.
A bunch of chicks.
Take her to the
But they overwhelm her.
She can keep Cobra command.
They are co-bras.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm
That's really
hilarious.
funny. And Lady J is saved by it's either Tomex or Zaymot. I always get them confused because literally they're the same character. One of them has a scar, one of them doesn't.
He looks like a brunette He-Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna go in a commercial with Lady J,
G.I. Joe will
maybe
return
getting help
after
from a
these
Crimson
messages.
Twin.
I got it! Wow!
Introducing the G.I. Joe USS Flag Aircraft Carrier. Imagine being on the deck of this aircraft carrier.
The USS Flag is fantastic! It's so big! All right, middle blast station! Get ready to launch aircraft! Where's the Admiral? Not here! G.I. Joe! Fire! We start Cobra! Go, Joe!
G.I. Joe USS Flag Aircraft Carrier comes with what you see here. Other figures and equipment sold separately from Hasbro. Now, back to G.I. Joe.
No, I think and I don't know if Tomex or Zaymot. I think he's more concerned
He's
about.
blurry.
Yeah, he wants his Cobra back the way it was. He likes his Cobra.
She's pretty.
He likes his Cobra getting beat and retreating a lot, not necessarily run by women.
Truce. I'm on your side.
Yeah, see, he calls a truce. He's on her
Should I
side.
believe a Crimson Guard commander?
So let's talk A-Team real quick. Who's your favorite A-Team member?
Murdoch.
Murdoch,
Yeah,
crazy
crazy,
man.
yeah.
Murdoch, you crazy fool.
He's crazy. It's funny.
Yeah, he was the best. He was. They would drug Mr. T, and Murdoch would fly him places, and then deny it when Mr. T woke up.
But Face was really handsome.
Oh, face
Dirk
is good
Benedict.
looking. Dirk Benedict, star of Battlestar Galactica,
I know.
and Your Dreams.
I was a little young. For the dreams.
Still dreamy.
Sure. His hair was I think I had his hairdo. I had the Princess Diana haircut, and I think that's the same as he had.
So, Tomax and or Zaymot, again, not sure which one it is. He and Jay jump into a fire bat.
Well, that takes care of that.
They fly off away from the Cobra base.
Wishful thinking is a problem with you, isn't it?
Still not sure if they know what the plan is. He's just knows he needs to get away. And this fire bat's pretty cool. It's drawn slightly different than they normally do. Normally they're solid color, like solid red. This one's white with like red wingtip fins, which is pretty good looking, I think.
It's always with wings.
Always with wings. It's
I mean, it's chicks.
sure.
Maybe that's where the idea came from.
Yeah, Major Blood. He gets knocked out of the sky, out of his. He's in a rattler. The Fangs are firing heat seekers. The firebat. So the firebat is considered.
I think it has to do. It's white with red for a reason.
You're
Because
saying
it's all
that
chicks.
The firebat
Major Blood.
just had an accident.
I'm just saying, it's the chicks.
You're saying the
it's a white one with
You're
some
saying
red
she,
on it.
she can't swim in gym class today.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, they take him back to the Joe headquarters, and he says that he wants to help.
Suppose we do trust you. We still can't attack in force, or we'll hurt Flint and the others.
And they're having trouble figuring it out. But here comes that scientist from earlier, and she's got the Deus Ex Machina for the day. Bum, bum, bum. She's devised a technological device to kind of counteract.
Are all the Siren ladies on this all redheads?
No, Scarlett's a redhead. Jay's a brunette, and CoverGirl's a brunette. CoverGirl's not really a redhead, I don't think. She's kind of a brunette.
But Baroness, the seashell is the leader, not you.
It's funny. There's so many redheads in comics and cartoons and stuff because it's a good
Yeah.
vibrant color, you know, like to catch the eye and stuff. And then in life, you know one or two.
Unless you're related to me, and then there's a
Sure,
bunch of them.
Sure. But yeah, like if you.
Or my crushes.
Oh, that's true. You do have.
I like some
severe
gingers.
passion.
I do.
Preached! It's Zaymot, Baroness!
It's Zaymot, by the way. We just had an answer to the question
Good. Oh,
that I
thank
wasn't paying
goodness.
attention to.
Thank
It
goodness.
is Zaymot. We've got an all-out assault on the Cobra Temple with silver mirages and those that Cobra those Cobra walking tanks. I just forget the name of them. They just showed up.
Where are those ones from? AT-ATs? From
Star Wars. Yeah, that's what they look like. They look a little like human AT-ATs.
I liked how her hair was the art that her hair was flowing.
Yeah, this animation on this episode is really sweet. Scarlet is firing this crazy
taser.
ray. Yeah, and it's because all the Joes were shooting at their own people. So the brainwashed Joes were straight up firing on their own guys.
They're sin waves.
Oh yeah, like the up and down. Yeah, yeah.
You heard the lady. What are we waiting?
I'm super sciencey just then because
Sure.
that was really good. Woo!
This week's guest is Bill Nye, the science guy. Mm-hmm. So the guys just turned on Baroness. They just realized they got their brains together again.
Oh, that was so creepy.
Well, the reason that Zaymot did this whole thing is because his brother was captured and he wasn't.
I know, but it was just the finishing each of the sentences was really creepy.
Yeah, that's what they
gross.
do.
I know. I'm just saying it's creepy.
And they rescued
Has
Commander.
anyone ever take that rag off Cobra's face ever?
Yeah, he did in an episode. He was eating, and when Destro saw him eating, he almost got sick to his stomach. So apparently his face is so disgusting. Yeah.
Is it all like maggots and stuff?
Well, in the movie, we get a little hint as to what it is. It turns out he might be part snake. Cobra might be a little literal, but there's theories on that. Yeah, there's theories.
Or it's Judd Nelson.
Judd Nelson?
I don't know. It's the first thing that came to mind.
Somewhere Judd Nelson's like, I'm not handsome? What?
I didn't say that.
Are they just shocked that it's Judd Nelson?
Yeah.
So Scarlet finds the conch shell, and she brings it back to the Joes, and instead of keeping it around, Lady J and Scarlet blow it all to heck.
Because heaven forbid women be able to tell men what to do and them listen.
Right? There's also like a Thanksgiving feast that's been prepared here.
That's good.
Well, since the guys were under their influence, I'm assuming it's the women who did the cooking.
Of course the women do the cooking. Of course. And the ladies will clean up afterwards. The men will be served first.
Rebekah Walendzak, it's a bit of a women's lib episode, but like they kind of just take the place of the guys instead of doing their own thing. You know
the only way the men listened to the women was because of some outside force.
Right.
And it's a mix of needing the siren call mixed with Lord of the Flies. Well, there was a conch shell.
Sure. Are you satisfied with this? Are you happy with this?
No.
Do you want to would you have wanted more women's liberation, more
It was up for women got in charge, things would get screwed up. That's what it feels like to me.
Well, I would say this though, once Baroness got in charge of Cobra, they made some inroads. So on the Cobra side, you got some incompetent leaders, and maybe if you gave the Baroness a little bit more control, you know what I'm saying? Like the girls did on the Joe side, they did a great job.
Well, they did a good job
rescuing the team, but their goal there was rescue the team and get back to normal, and then we'll win the day. Baroness was like, we're at normal now. I'm taking over. And Baroness made some, kidnapping all those Joes. Like, she really made some inroads that normally doesn't happen on the show.
But it would have been a little better if she had been forthright with her emails.
Exactly.
Just if she would have just...
That's the thing.
Not used a personal server.
In the middle of all this, a Tele-Viper showed up and produced a couple emails where Baroness was talking trash about Major Blood. And it's like, that's so embarrassing for you. How dare you? Yeah.
Oh, but you know what, Baroness? She is Russian, right?
Right. She's totally Russian, so
she
must have ties.
That doesn't work as well. Because then the Russians are just getting into a...
Yeah.
We tried. We tried.
Listen, not everything's a gem. A lot of times in improv, they wipe a scene when it doesn't work. Yeah. So we're going to wipe this.
Wipe it.
And we're going to say thank you, Rebekah Walendzak, for joining me this week on Joe on Joe.
This probably is my best one I've ever done.
You're a delight.
You're a delight.
Thank you so much.
I am so excited for your live episode coming,
It's going to be
sweetheart.
fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm real proud of you.
And thank you so much. And thank you for listening. Remember, Joe and Joe pod at Gmail and Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. And now you Joe, and Joeing is half the battle.